We thought it would be very interesting if you came up with a bunch of rapid fire questions.
Yep.
I don't even know what these questions are going to be. So I'm a little bit like, ooh, what's going to be coming my way here? I'm really interested to see what's about to pop up. So rapid fire interview me, Miss Liz. Hey guys, it's Mindi Linscombe, your host of the Something New Show. And we thought it would be very fun to do something different today, something new, actually, because we are in the studio with my right-hand person for the show. This is Liz Ramsdell. And for those of you that don't know her, she does everything from my production and editing and also just like my right hand when it comes to my coaching business and things like that. So I just want to say thanks, Liz, for all you do.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
Nowhere else I would rather be.
Well, we have a lot of fun together, maybe too much fun for work because we're supposed to, be working, but I always feel like it's more like dreaming and then doing and the cycle. And I love doing it with you. I think it's helpful for people to know that we've known each other for 20 years.
Yes, that plays into all the fun that we have for sure.
Right. So 20 years ago, when I was a young woman, I was a
You were my age.
Yeah, I was. I was a teacher, and you were in my class. And as a third grader, it was super fun to see your bright ambition. You were always special, even when you were little. Your eyes were just like beautiful, and you were engaged with everything I was talking about, even though you're probably like, why am I learning Spanish at 8 years old? But it was super fun. And then just to see you grow up and you have gained so much knowledge, so much professional development in your career, in your degrees, in life. And then this year, for whatever reason, God brought us back together, and it's just so cool
awesome
to be together this season. And I really do think that all the things we dream of and the goals that we have, I think we're going to do them.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely. 2024 is well on its way. It's only December at the time we're recording this, but we can already see it.
Yeah, we can see it. And we have a clear vision of who we want to help and why we want to make a difference. And I hope that even as you've been in all these episodes in the background or editing, or I hope they've even encouraged you personally.
Oh my goodness. It has been so amazing to just be a fly on the wall with so many, with you getting to just learn anything and everything that comes out of your mouth. Like she said, we've known each other for 20 years, and we even went to the same undergrad school, and that was because of your influence that you've had on me. And so even just getting to sit in staff meetings or be in this podcast, just continuing to learn from you has been incredible. But the guests we bring on this show, even more.
They are so amazing, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just powerful and inspiring and wise. And so getting to be in the same room is an honor. It's so exciting. I love it.
I love it. And we love having you around them too. I'm so proud to introduce you as my right hand to them.
Fun.
So that's great. And as we're recording this, you might be like me where you are bustling and going a million miles an hour in the holiday season. Just kind of joking about today, I was like, I'm going straight from this to my kids' elementary Christmas parties, to Barnes and Noble to have them pick out a book because we're going to be catching a flight, and I don't want them to, they have not earned the screen time that they would like to have, but we're going to let them pick out a book, which I think is extremely generous of me. And so they have a book for the airplane ride, and I'm going to try to fit in a workout and then catch a plane. So
literally superwoman.
No, I'm just saying this is real life.
Yeah.
This is what it is like every day. And I'm sure it is for any working mom, right?
Yep.
Or dad, working mom or dad is just go, go, go. And I'm trying to be very present in all of these moments. So right now in this episode, we thought it would be very interesting if you came up with a bunch of rapid fire questions.
Yep.
And the questions that maybe come to your mind, but also as you've been in this role for a while, questions that you've heard our viewers ask, or you've seen them write in or ask you to ask me. So I don't even know what these questions are going to be. So I'm a little bit like, ooh, what's going to be coming my way here? I'm really interested to see what's about to pop up, but I am ready to answer these questions, and I'm going to try to be as quick and efficient as possible. So rapid fire interview me, Miss Liz.
Okay. So she is not kidding when she says there is so much going on right now. per the usual though. So Mindi, what is saving your life right now? It could be practical, it could be fun things. Oh, like for me, it's always coffee. It's always caffeine, but what is the list of things? It could be practical or it could be bigger. What's saving your life?
Saving my life.
Okay.
I got a new set of super soft sheets and I got a new comforter. I personally went to Kohl's on the Sunday after Black Friday, so everything was on clearance, and I got literally the softest everything because my bed was driving me crazy. It was my sheets had been ripped by my dog, and I was just like, this place is not an oasis right now. So I have to tell you, I am trying to get to bed as early as I can. I mean, sometimes it's a fight just to get there by 11 p.m. But my point is, when I get into my bed at night, it is luxurious. I am this is amazing. I love my comforter and my pillows, and everything just feels so relaxing. And it's almost like a reward for me to get to put my head down at night. And so that is what's saving me, my new sheets.
I love it. Get yourself some nice bedding. I love it. There's nothing like the feeling of clean, fresh sheets.
Amen.
At the end of a hard day.
So good.
Okay. At the time we're recording this, it's December. What does celebration mean to you? We're in the middle of the holidays, but you live, breathe, celebration all the time.
For my family, this holiday season, we're going to be celebrating Christmas, and it's not necessarily the day in real life that Christ was born, but it's the day we've all chosen based on a calendar system to acknowledge that this is the date that Christ was born. And our favorite thing to do is on Christmas Eve, we go to our church, and there's a really meaningful, short but meaningful service that we get to just pause and recognize the birth of our Savior. Our personal belief is that he saved us from, all of our sins and transgressions. So I think it's important to acknowledge that this is really kind of a time of year, whether it's the real day on the calendar or not, it's a time of year to pause, reflect, and have that conversation with our kids and say, wow, we're so thankful for Christ coming.
That's beautiful. What are some of your favorite ways to celebrate others? What are some things you've practiced?
Okay, well, I have a lot of cheating when it comes to celebrating others. So what I like to do is save birthdays in my phone.
Okay.
And I like to put in the notes sometimes, if I know their favorite coffee or their favorite whatever. I also used this website, Postable is what I think it's called, and it has all of my friends' addresses and things. And if they fill out the entirety of it, it's not just their address, it's their birthdays as well. And so it gives you a notification that so-and-so's birthday, and you can literally just click and send them a birthday card. It's
genius.
Just one click, and they take care of everything. So it saves me a ton of time, but I never want to forget someone's birthday. Now, if it's not someone that you can send a card to, or that wouldn't mean anything to them, something that I at least try to do is leave a voice memo for them on a text. So the daily celebration looks like, is it someone's birthday that I need to send a text to? Or is someone coming to mind? And I at least try to send out at least one encouraging text to someone every single day. So if I do that 365 days a year, I have done a little drop of a smile or an encouragement and used my words to help someone else. So that's how I celebrate regularly.
I love that, through intentionality. I mean, you hear someone's birthday, you write it down, and then even if it's just a text, you're making sure you're acknowledging it.
Well, you wrote down my favorite coffee drink after one time with me. You saved it. And I was like, how does she already know? She saved it after one time.
Yeah.
So it's paying attention, of something somebody already likes or does. And then another thing you could do if you're a boss is you can do a favorites list. And I got this from Chris at Lighthouse, which is, he's been a guest before. He does a favorites list of his staff so that if they're, needing a little pick me up, you just pull that little paper out, the favorites list, and send them their hot tamale candy if that's their favorite or whatever it might be.
I love that. Mindi, what's on your favorites list?
Oh, I don't think I've ever filled one out for myself or told anyone.
What's your favorite candy or sweet
I don't
treat?
eat candy. And I actually don't. I don't eat candy, and I don't eat sugar really. So I would say I'm more of a savory person. Okay. I love, my favorite thing is chips and salsa, but I still try to not have a lot of that. But I'm just saying, my favorite splurge is chips and salsa or chips and guacamole. Love. More than queso, actually, is a good guacamole.
Okay.
And it's healthier, right?
Yeah.
Healthy fats, avocados.
Gotta get them in.
And then I would say for me, more than a food being a favorite treat, even though I do love when somebody brings me like a little coffee or a smoothie from Smoothie King, like something like that just like protein something. Cause usually I've gone 8 hours without eating if I'm at work, but more than that, I love getting a massage.
Okay.
If somebody's
helps you relax.
Yes. I could get one every week if I had the opportunity to. But my point is like sometimes my family will say, what do we get you? And I'm like, honestly, if you just got me a massage, I'd be like so thankful. So I've had a lot of people over the years, when they find that out, just like kind of sneak that in there, and I just love it.
I love that. Do you want to tell everybody one of the most intentional gifts you had ever gotten from your staff that you told me about?
Yes.
Because I think it's such a good story of paying attention. I mean, they really made you feel celebrated in that moment because of the way they knew you.
It was maybe 2 years ago, the best present that anyone has ever given me besides my engagement ring, right? When
or
Jordan,
your children.
Yeah, or my children. I'm just talking about an item.
Yes.
An item. So besides my engagement ring from my husband, that was absolutely beautiful. I would say out of all the years, the most intentional gift was given to me 2 years ago. And my team got together, and particularly Sophia thought of this, and she rallied the troops to do this. So I had said to them at some point in some conversation how there's this one parking spot at our building that really means a lot to me to park at, because I had literally worked for 2 years to get a loan, been told no, fought to get the loan. I worked with the architect for 2 years. I worked with the builder for 2 years. I worked simultaneously with all these people to make this project of this beautiful building. And I was like, the only thing I really want out of this is just a place to park that's like my own. And so I just kind of said to the team, I said, it'd be really great if you guys, whether I'm here after you or before you, if you could just save this one spot, it would mean a lot to me. Just I worked so hard, and this is all I really want is just this one spot to park. And so she had noted that, and I, for Christmas 2 years ago, pulled up in my parking space, and there is this beautiful branded sign on the building, and it says reserved for Mindi Linscombe. And this parking space sign, I literally cried when I pulled up. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know who did it for me. Came upstairs. I'm like, who did this for me? And they all said surprise. And it was like the most silly thing that this little piece of aluminum, like, 8x10 on a building meant something to me, but it meant that they had listened.
They were paying attention.
Yeah, they were paying attention to what mattered to me. They knew that little spot of the parking spot was like special to me, and then they claimed it on my behalf, something I would never do. And it was just so meaningful. And the other thing is I get to enjoy it every day, Liz.
Yeah.
Like every day I park in that spot and I see that sign, and it's something that's like the gift that keeps on giving. I love it.
It's a reminder too, because it's kind of symbolic, because you have told the story on the podcast before of you used to work from the parking lot.
Yes.
You wanted to let your office be a space for your staff, because at the time we didn't have spaces designated for, your separate space and the staff space. So you just prioritized them. You'd work in the parking
in my
lot.
old building, I gave up my office, you're right, to let it be a staff lunchroom and things like that. So I'd work in my car in the parking lot.
And now you have this spot of honor of like, look how far you've come. You get a parking spot.
I know.
And it seems silly, but it was really thoughtful and intentional. It was a good way to celebrate you.
It really is special.
I love it. Okay, I'm going to switch topics away from celebration kind of. But we talked about this in the beginning of how amazing it's been to sit in, to listen to you talk to these wonderful guests. And we do have a big theme of mentorship in our culture here and of passing down knowledge. And so what to you makes the best mentor? Ooh. Who should people look for, especially like girls my age, like we're, young 20s, or maybe it's a new mom, or maybe it's a new entrepreneur. What should they be looking for when they're looking for someone to follow? That's
a great question. I love it, because I think sometimes you just think somebody has a cute Instagram and then you're like, oh, they must be cool to like learn from. First of all, I think you can absolutely be mentored by people in a digital space. Like this.
Yeah,
absolutely. We hope that is assisting you. But what you want to be paying attention to, whether it's in a digital space or in person, how do they speak about other people? Oof. I think that's the first thing I pay attention to. Are they uplifting and speaking well of others, or are they tearing people down and talking about all the people that have screwed them over the years or whatever? I think that's one of the first things I want to identify is like, that's a person that I respect, admire, and want to be and emulate my life like is somebody who talks well of others. That's the first thing. The second thing I look for is, and you can't always tell in the digital space if they are living like this, but do they have a family life that you would want to have yourself?
Yeah.
Do they have that? Do they love their partner, or do they complain about their partner? Do they love their kids, or do they have a broken relationship? Now, it's not always on them. I'm just saying, does it look like their life is producing some sort of fruit in their personal life? Because I believe who you are in private is really who you are in public too, but you don't always get to see the private, but it can be an overflow if you have those relationships right.
Yeah.
So I want us to always look up to people that are trying to have good relationships. I think you need to have somebody that's gone before you and had success in the area in which you're trying to have success. So if it's fitness and they are healthy, that's great. If they have a successful business, maybe even specifically like in the industry you want to be in, that's even better, right? Look to them and say, oh, how have they done this? Follow their footsteps. I also like to see who they spend their time with. So, the saying is the top 5 people that you spend your time with is who you become like. So I would like to see, who does this person spend their time with? Do they have a lot of amazing people in their network, or do they have people that you're like, ooh, yeah, that's rough? Because I think they're going to bring you up or bring you down as a mentor based on who their circle is as well. Like I hope, as I've brought you into my company, I hope you felt like you've just been surrounded by some of the best people. And that's really telling to like what you're going to become like.
Oh, absolutely.
Like in a year from now, I hope Liz Ramsdell is just an even more amazing version of herself than she was when she started.
Oh, absolutely. The people I've met in your circle are deeply inspiring. Just positive
I'm
mindsets,
so honored,
hard workers, and even some of the big life choices that I have made. I remember exactly where we were sitting in your old house near Hodgen, and I decided to make some pretty big life changes. I transferred schools, moved states, because it had dawned on me, there is Mindi and there's her family and there's these group of friends that she has. And if you want to be like them, you need to start making similar choices that they made. And so you need to be asking good questions and you need to be making similar choices. So how would someone in that position be a good mentee? What do they need to do in order to, and you had I just heard you talk about this earlier. How do they need to show up so they can be mentored well?
Yeah. So I think that if somebody wants to be mentored, first of all, you don't have to know the person. Like you can absolutely just absorb a ton of information that they put out in the world, whether that's a book that they write, a podcast they produce. They're usually amazing mentors are already pumping out the content like crazy. So I would tell you, there's people that I listen to and love, and I just literally, I'm like a sponge. I don't know them, but I feel like I know them because I'm listening very regularly to what they have to say. And I look up to them for all the reasons I explained a mentor should be looked up to. So absorb and find those people and look up to them. And like I said, take everything in. But the second thing, if you know them in real life, then I think you should reach out to them or ask someone who might know them if they're in your community and say, is there any way you could provide an introduction? I would be honored to take them to coffee, or if they could give me any of their time. And then if they can give you any of their time, then I wouldn't just ask them directly for that. I would be more specific on what you need. I would say, I would like to learn from you. You inspire me because, like, this is literally a text I would write.
Yeah.
I would say, dear so-and-so, I look up to you because, and I would like to learn from you how to fill in the blank. Can I please have 30 minutes of your time, or whatever it might be very specific, 1 hour of your time. And I would love to pay for your coffee or pay for your lunch. And I will come prepared with questions to ask.
Yeah. Don't waste their time.
Don't waste their time.
Yeah.
So then you show up with your outline of things asked, you pay for it, you tell them you appreciate it. Those are the types of people that we as mentors want to give more time to. And I also assure you, I am still that person asking for people to come on my podcast. And do I just like say, oh, okay, let's shoot the breeze? No, I hope they feel like we've come prepared, that we have an outline. We know exactly what we're going to talk about. And so we literally get them in, get them out, so that it is such a respect of their time. So that's a good mentee spot.
I love that. Yes, especially we younger people need to learn how to receive well and to be hungry and to ask good questions.
And here's the big peep, don't ask them stuff that they've already put out on a podcast or put in a book or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like they will feel frustrated, like, I already put this out there. What you want to do is acknowledge that you've already paid attention. So I've heard you say this, and this before. Can you unpack it more? So that they know that as the mentor, they hear what you're saying is like, you've already done as much as you can to not bother them, to not take their time. You've already learned as much as you can from all the resources they've already provided you. Now you just want more.
That's so good.
If you take
initiative.
If you came to that coffee date and you said, so how'd you start your business? And I've already like recorded that or told people about that. It just feels like, well, why didn't you just listen to that episode? Or maybe, hey, why did you write that book to an author? And it's like their whole forward of their book. Mm-hmm. It's like, make sure you read from them and get everything you can before using their time.
Totally. Well, and that's why you started this podcast, right? Is because you know that there are people you're not going to get to have FaceTime with. And that could be because of your schedule or their schedule, but you still want to be able to give stuff away, right?
Absolutely.
You still want to be able to speak into their lives. And so you created this free online digital resource in order to get into people's ears. So let's imagine one of those people right now. Let's imagine a young married mom. She wants to be an entrepreneur. She has dreams, but she is in the grind. And you can remember back to those times.
Yes.
What maybe that you haven't gotten to say to her before. Maybe she has listened to, maybe she's an avid Something New show listener. Yeah. What's something that today we're in her ears that you can encourage her with or give her?
Don't wait for the perfect time. Like if you have something that you're supposed to do, you need to start today. Actually, you should have started yesterday, but that's okay. Yesterday's over. So today we're going to start. And what we're going to do is just do one little thing a day to get towards the dream. So if it's, making an outline for what you should put on your website today, tomorrow is trying to do some research on what product you're going to source and from where, whatever it might be. It's like, don't wait for the perfect time because there's never a perfect time. You just got to chip away at it. Start today.
That's so good. What can you do today? What can you do this week? What can you do this year?
Just little bite-sized stuff.
I love that. Is that the advice you would give your younger self, your 27-year-old self starting something new?
I think that you will never have all the answers. You will never be 100% prepared. You'll never be ready.
Yeah.
So you just got to do it. I knew nothing about what I was doing when I was 27 years old and I started this. I mean, I knew as much as I could, but there was no internet. There was no training school. I would go to Barnes & Noble and read the books for free about a business plan, a SWOT analysis, and all the things. So I was, as much as I could, I would do that. And then but I still knew nothing. Mm-hmm. When I think about what I know now and what I knew nothing what I was doing back then. But that's what I'm saying. You can't wait until you're ready because you'll never be ready.
You can't wait to be ready because you'll never be ready. There's always more to be growing in. There's always more to do.
Just learn as you go and do one thing a day.
Is that the same advice you would give a young couple? You and Jordan work really closely together. We have episodes about that. Go back and find them and listen to them. But a new couple trying to figure out how to do amazing things in the world together. Yeah. What would you say to them?
I would say, first of all, make sure you're in unity because what you're about to embark on is going to require a lot of sacrifices. And if it's only a passion of one of yours, then make sure that that you are in unity, that person is going to take on a career choice and it's going to require a lot of sacrifice. Are you okay with that? Or are you trying to do it together? And if so, who's going to sacrifice what? Mm-hmm. Because while there's benefit and gain and reward, and I enjoy them and I appreciate all of those things, there's actually more sacrifice than reward.
Yeah.
So it's like, are you ready to sacrifice every day, all the time, to get the end goal of the reward, but both realizing there's going to be sacrifices along the way, and you will not resent each other if you're in unity.
What are the practical ways throughout a week that a couple can make sure that they are in unity and stay in unity? I know you guys have talked about weekly meetings.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely, let me start from the beginning there. For you to have a successful week and making sacrifices throughout it, you need to have that weekly meeting and clarity on who's going to be doing what throughout the week. And then you can't be led by emotion. Mm-hmm. So every single day, I don't feel like doing at least some of that day. Like some of the things on my docket that day, I don't feel like doing. And I have to choose my mind has to choose to do the right thing that we've already chosen to do, regardless of how I feel. So I literally deny my feelings a lot because I don't feel like doing the hard things, but I have to do them. I have to do them. So our partnership is pretty great because both of us are able to have our mind over our feelings. And so there are times when he doesn't feel like doing it either, like picking up the kids from school because I have an important meeting, but we have that commitment to each other that no matter what, like we will do what we said we're going to do at that meeting that week. Like there's no canceling. There's no calling off. It's like we said, this is how the week is going to shape up.
Yep.
This is who's doing what. If you're responsible for making dinner that night, you can't be like, oh, I just decided to not do that. No, it's like, we're just 100% in. We're all in. So when we decide on that Sunday night meeting what the week is, we just do not let our feelings change the plans.
Yeah. And you, another plug to another episode, you talk about this in your Mom Guilt episode of how you really suggest getting away. It could just be a space. It could just be an hour. It doesn't have to be an overwhelming trip or anything like that. And kind of outlining, these are my values. And this is how it's going to show up in the week. This is how, we value being mom and dad. So for your family, you always pick up your kids from school. Mom or dad is always picking up kids from school. That way, throughout the week, you have less decision fatigue because you're making so many decisions throughout the week, and then you guys can be unified moving forward throughout the week. It's
actually almost easier, even though, like I said, you don't ask yourself, oh, how do I feel about leaving right now to go do this? I don't even ask because I just do what we planned out. But I made the decisions when I had clarity. And then with the clarity, we made the decisions for the week. Who's going to do what? Is there enough FaceTime with our kids? Is there enough time with our staff? Is there enough time making a budget plan or whatever it might be for that week? And then we don't ask how we feel about it. We just show up and do it.
Okay. I would be mad at myself if I didn't ask a question that I feel like is on behalf of young women everywhere. How do we find our Jordan, Mindi? How do we find someone who's going to be unified? And we're talking about women who are maybe career and family focused, who want to live a fast-paced, impactful life, who want a meaningful marriage, who want to be able to accomplish good things, not in spite of their marriage, but because of their marriage. How do we find him? Where is he at?
Oh, I know.
Because some of these things that you're saying, I can imagine need to be conversations you're having when you're seriously dating.
Absolutely.
If you know you want to be in an entrepreneurial position.
Yeah. Well, even not.
Or if you have big
that
dreams.
Even all of my married friends have better marriages if it's truly a partnership.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a hard one, Liz. Because I did find a treasure. And
give them some encouragement.
I know. Well, first of all, I always say that you will always attract what you are.
So good.
So, whether that's me as an employer, if I'm a great company to work for, I'm going to attract the right employees because they're going to want to line up with me. They're going to be like, let's go. And as a single person looking for a partner, I think that if you are incredible, and I'm not saying perfect, those are different things.
Yeah.
Incredible could mean like the person that messes up all the time, but still realizes it and is vulnerable and says, man, I screwed up again, but I'm going to get back on the horse. Right. And forgive myself, get back out there and learn from that mistake and not do it again. So incredible means to me, like hardworking, has integrity, like willing to encourage others, has great friends too, has a good circle around them. Those are good people. And so first, be that person so that you attract that person, and then keep putting yourselves in environments where those types of people are. So it could be professional development conferences if you're a person that's trying to be an entrepreneur. If it's just a friend circle, maybe there's like professional clubs in your area. I have said church before, but that's not always a good place too. I mean, it's a mix. Everywhere you go, there's going to be both people, right? Church, professional organizations, but there are networking groups, there are friend groups, there's pickleball groups. I mean, whatever it may be, I'm just saying, do what you love.
Yeah.
Start doing those things in community with other people. And the way I envision it for my kids and the way I envision it to people I've mentored, as I said, become the best version of yourselves, constantly be growing, improving, and put yourself in places that you are doing those things that you love, and then look to your right and left and who's there doing it with you.
Mm-hmm. Who's keeping up with you?
Yeah.
I love
who's
that.
on the side. And then you just, one day you're like, whoa, that's cool. You're doing that too. And then it just starts to evolve.
Yeah. And I'm sure your faith has played such a big part in it too, because you and Jordan do have something unique. You guys definitely are working in partnership. You're not accomplishing things in spite of each other. You're not having to fight each other to accomplish your goals. And so much of that unity comes on the basis of your shared faith.
Yeah. Our faith also has a heavy emphasis on forgiveness.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe Christianity is based on forgiveness, right? And so we are forgiven, but because of our belief in God, like, we're saved. So I just think when you have forgiveness as a really strong part of your faith, it allows so much more grace in a partnership, because when you make mistakes, you don't tally it up and like start to keep score of how many wrongs you've been wronged.
Yeah.
You will be wronged. But when you have such an emphasis on forgiveness, you're quick to forgive. And that's the way I want to be. I want to be quick to forgive and quick to be forgiven. Grace for tomorrow.
That feels like a really different message than we're hearing normally right now. It's very like, take what is yours. I mean, even boundary conversations are so healthy. We have to have those here, right? And we have a big emphasis on healthy boundaries, but forgiveness requires definitely a level of vulnerability and starting over and trust. And that feels really countercultural right now.
Yeah, I think boundaries sometimes can be an escape to be selfish.
Yeah.
I think it's like, sure, let's have healthy boundaries. I can get behind that. However, I also think people sometimes use boundaries to just be selfish. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, no, we were meant to be selfless. We were meant to come and serve and actually be inconvenienced for others. So boundaries is like all about kind of conveniencing ourselves. And sometimes I think it's too much.
Yeah. She said it. Sometimes it's too much. But what I will say from someone who has seen the back end of things, who has gotten to have a vulnerable look into things, is that it's working. Your commitment to one another, the values that you've built your marriage on, faith, forgiveness, self-sacrifice, it's working. There's joy in your home. There's joy in your kids. Your business is thriving. And who doesn't want all of those things?
I want to say thank you, but also for people to know, like, just this morning,
So it gets
just
real.
this morning, I am so honored that you see that, but I also want people to know, just this morning, Jordan and I, we were really frustrated with each other, but so much grace, because right as we were having this little tiff and you were right in front of us, we had to start an episode, so it's like, it is still
Real life.
There's still disappointment. There's still frustration. There's still times where I'm like, this is hard. But because of the grace that we've chosen to give one another, we believe the best in one another. We believe we're each doing our best, and we're each growing and changing every day. We are still curious to get to know that person so that tomorrow is a better day.
Well, and that gives so much hope, because nobody relates to a perfect person. Nobody relates to I cannot mimic a perfect relationship.
No.
But if I can see the tattered edges and there's still progress and there's still joy and there's still love, that feels like something I can really admire and go after. And I know everybody else feels the same way. So,
well, I think that's the most important thing we as leaders can do, is be transparent. Because it does, first of all, it does help people realize perfection is an impossible thing to reach for.
yeah.
Impossible. So when we're transparent with people and we show them we mess up, we show them that it's real life, we show them that sometimes it's harder, that we fail, and we say, oh my gosh, look at what I did today. Like, I joked even about this year, I had a bad attitude one time on a flight with my team coming home from a long trip. I was just like grumpy, and I was like, oh my goodness. But I think that just made them love and understand me even more, that I am not perfect. There's still hard days, there are disappointment, like I said, and I mess up. But the fact that I keep getting back up, I choose to keep showing up, is what I hope people admire.
Oh yeah. Erwin McManus, who I know we both love, he always says the best creators are putting out their imperfection, and they're allowing creation to happen, leadership to happen, beauty to happen along the journey. And that takes a bit of courage. and a bit of vulnerability. You just said the other day to me, sometimes I cringe thinking about what I put out 2 years ago. And I know I'm going to feel that way about what I'm putting out now, because you're continuing to evolve and you're continuing to grow and continuing to learn. But there's so much we can pick up and learn and share along the way. And so that's what this podcast is about. And I'm so thankful to be here.
Yes.
It's so good.
So fun.
Should we tell them about our one of our favorite drinks?
So I'm drinking my favorite drink that I have if I have coffee, which is an iced Americano with cream and a splash of simple syrup, or sugar-free vanilla if they don't have simple syrup.
Shout out Loyal Coffee.
And there you go. And then the other thing that I love to drink on a regular basis is sparkling water.
Which I also love it.
So I probably have at least 2 sparkling waters a day.
Let's crack it.
Very
We'll do
refreshing.
some ASMR for the people.
I know, right?
This is a hot take. I hate ASMR. I hate the tapping.
You do.
I hate the clicking. I think it's disgusting, but people love it. So there you go.
There you go. So
Something
cheers.
New show ASMR.
Cheers. Thank you for being on the show and for asking me some really crucial questions. I think just hearing them off the bat, like I wasn't sure what we were going to talk about. I let you take the lead today, but I really think they will be helpful to people. I hope that that they do find some mentors in their life, or that they dive deeper into this show even.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. So cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for joining us on this episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, and tell your friends about it. We'd love to see you next time. Bye, guys. Take care. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the show, rate, review, and share with a friend. Also, follow The Something New Show on Instagram and Facebook. If you want a fuller experience, watch the show on YouTube to help you create a life worth celebrating.